Right now at 5, area small businesses gather to discuss how recent legislation could affect them.
And we've got a hot and humid Thursday ahead of us, and then rain chances building this weekend. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a deadly house fire in Bourbon County claims the life of a woman with mobility issues.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, all much closer to Friday.
Yes.
It's also July the 10th today, so
There we are.
Yeah.
How about that?
that's all. That's all we've got.
Right, that's
so
all we've
far.
got today.
It's going to be too hot and humid to do anything later today.
I
Anyway,
know.
like I said, I know we've been pretty decent for this summer. It could have been worse. Today's going to get pretty yucky outside, but I mean it's July. It's got to do something to us at some point, right? Not like we want it to, but
Yeah.
it has to.
It has to.
We're going to start with, of course, our live look from downtown Pittsburgh. And things are looking pretty good. We've got clear skies out there this morning, and we've got clear skies from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. We do have some fog, though. I ran into some light fog on the drive up to the station, so nothing significant there. But as you can see, Miami and then down south toward Grove around the Grand Lake area, we do have some reduced visibility, so just use caution if you're traveling down south this morning. On to the future track, we've got really nothing to show. Could get a passing cloud or two, and it's trying to generate a pop-up storm today, but I'm going to tell you right now, we've got pretty much a 0% chance. I told you yesterday our chances today were extraordinarily low for any kind of pop-up storm activity, and this morning it is not looking promising, but we'll still keep an eye on things. Otherwise, not a bad day. Again, maybe a passing cloud here or there, but not too bad. 70 in Joplin and in Pittsburgh and across the area. So that yellowish and orange out there, a little warmer to the west. So 69 Stockton, latest 68s down here, Monette and Cassville. And then as you roll to the west, it starts to warm up into the low to mid 70s at this 5 a.m. hour here. We're expecting clear skies today. South winds 5 to 10, about 80. It's going to warm up quick, by the way. 80 by 9, upper 80s by noon. Low 90s for our highs, and not cooling down that fast as we head into the evening. We're also looking at heat index values today that could approach 100, so we're back to that point. Just make sure you're staying hydrated. If you got to work outdoors, you're finding shade, taking breaks, because it's going to be a little uncomfortable. We do have increasing storm chances, though, as we head into the weekend, naturally. We'll have a full look at your forecast and break down those rain chances for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, a Topeka, Kansas man learns his fate for his role in a 2024 fatal crash in Jasper County, Missouri. The crash happened about 7 months ago on December 7th. Authorities responded to a report of a rollover on Sumac Road and County Road 280 in Jasper County. Troopers say a compact SUV pulled into the path of another car, causing it to overturn. Crystal Emery from Asbury was in that car. She died of her injuries at Freeman West. Authorities arrested the SUV driver, Malachi Doyle, who was then 20 years old. Yesterday, a Southwest Missouri judge sentenced Doyle to 2 years of unsupervised probation for the crash that killed Crystal Emery from Asbury. Authorities had originally charged Doyle with multiple charges, including DWI causing the death of another. But as part of the plea bargain, authorities dropped the DWI charge. A 6-month jail sentence was also suspended. Doyle will have to pay more than $300 in fines and court costs. A woman is dead following a fire on the outskirts of Fort Scott. According to the state fire marshal's office, it happened in the 2200 block of Osage Road shortly before 5 p.m. Tuesday. The Scott Township, Fort Scott, and Bourbon County District 3 fire departments responded to the fire where a woman with mobility issues was trapped. Firefighters discovered the woman dead in her bed in the living room. The fire marshal's office says there's nothing suspicious about the fire at this time. Yesterday, local business owners in McDonald County got the opportunity to learn more about how state and federal legislation may impact them. It was part of a lunch and learn event hosted by the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce. A representative from the National Federation of Independent Business spoke to business owners about what work they're doing to support them, as well as answer questions about recent legislation. Topics included action taken to address Proposition A concerns in Missouri and why the Federation sees the recently passed Big Beautiful Bill as a win for businesses across the country.
We are hopeful that they're focusing on bringing manufacturing back. They're focusing on tariffing those countries that don't play fair. And so that allows our craftsmen, our machinists, our labor to begin to come up.
Another issue local business owners say they are concerned about is property taxes. That will be the topic of the next Lunch and Learn hosted by the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce. Well, more emergency help is on the way to flood-ravaged Central Texas, and it's arriving from out of state. FEMA has activated a first responder group out of Missouri. Officials in Boone County, Missouri say 52 members that make up Missouri Task Force 1 will help with water rescues and locating bodies of victims. The group is expected to head to the hardest hit area of Texas, Kerr County, and be on the ground up to 2 weeks. The catastrophic flooding has left more than 100 people dead. The search continues for others who are missing. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, heartbreak and hope in Texas as families searched for loved ones lost in the floods. Plus, a look at how the nation's new budget legislation could impact area health care. And we have a hot and humid day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, day 7 in the search for the more than 170 people still missing following last Friday's deadly flash flooding in Central Texas. This morning, we're learning new details about the warnings that did and did not go off. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
In Central Texas, a 7th day of searching for more than 100 people still missing after last week's flood. In Travis County, J.J. Jarman is still looking for his 16-year-old daughter.
I've managed the past few days since this has happened by the support of my friends.
Elsewhere, Mike Tober's mission mules carrying supplies for first responders are uniquely equipped to help navigate the terrain.
We are here from North Carolina to help them as long and as hard as we can.
Amid the cleanup, questions about the systems meant to help notify people. John David Trollinger, a former Kerr County IT director, was part of the team that installed the county's Code Red phone-based warning system. He recorded the moment volunteer firefighters requested that Code Red alert as early as 4:22 a.m.
Is there any way we can send a Code Red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
Standby, we have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Some survivors report getting a Code Red alert an hour later. Trollinger says his didn't come in until after 10 a.m.
Someone should have gotten up and been there to go, okay, send the Code Red.
The Kerr County Sheriff.
This incident will be reviewed. You have my word.
Meanwhile, the community, through prayer, song, and service, is trying to heal. Flags were lowered to half staff across Texas, the community cloaked in tragedy, searching for a way forward. Jared Hill, CBS News.
President Trump has said he plans to visit the area tomorrow. And still to come, a homeowner throws a deer out of his house by its antlers, and another deer gets saved from the ocean and apparently circling sharks by lifeguards. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This. And Chris returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, a New Jersey homeowner had to get hands-on when a panicked deer that broke into his house refused to leave, and the whole thing was caught on camera.
What do you do when a large deer is trapped inside your house and can't get out? For one New Jersey homeowner, the answer was clear. Grab it by the antlers and steer that deer away from here. WPVI reports Brian Carnes woke up to a ruckus he thought was a burglar breaking into his Medford home.
I thought that somebody threw a brick through my window and now they came in.
What he found instead was a confused and clattering buck stuck in his living room.
He gets up and he starts to run around. And when I look at him, I'm just confused. I have no idea. All I've heard so far is glass, and he's in the house.
Carnes says not knowing what to do, he drew on his own experience of handling his pet goat. He took the bull by the horns and grabbed that deer by its antlers, dragging it outside where it was able to flee to flailing freedom. And for this rudely awakened resident, as they say, the buck stopped here. Another deer caught in a tricky spot received some much-needed assistance, this time by professionals trained not in animal control, but in water rescues. Lifeguards sprang into action, springing into the waters off Flagler Beach, Florida, when the deer was spotted struggling to stay afloat in the surf.
I've never even heard of a deer going in the ocean.
For real, though. And if one wading wild animal wasn't enough, the lifeguards told Wesh during the rescue op, they spotted sharks circling the scene.
I saw 2 of those big fins come out of the water, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Thankfully, everyone made it back to shore in one piece, and the lifeguards later said even with unexpected wild animals, quick and decisive action is all in a day's work.
It's my job. It's what I need to do, so I'll do it for anybody.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got just a few clouds out there this morning, and we're looking at a very hot and muggy day. A full look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:18 now on this Thursday morning. Quick stop with the fog tracker around the Grand Lake area, back up into parts of Ottawa County, Delaware County. We do have some slightly reduced visibility, stretching into, of course, parts of western McDonald County and even eastern portions of Craig County. So do keep that in mind if you're traveling south or to the west or southwest. You want to make sure you're watching out for that fog. And, of course, be careful for any rapidly changing visibility conditions out there. All right, so something we want to take a quick look at outside of our immediate area, but what we've got is an outflow boundary from a line of now pretty much decaying severe thunderstorms off to our north, and it has triggered some new thunderstorm development out ahead of it. So it's outside of our immediate area. It doesn't seem to be moving too much, but it is trying to push south and east. So it's coming off of that. It's now part of this outflow, which if you watch, it flares up pretty quickly right through here. Now, if it continues its course, it may clip some of our northern counties, may also fizzle out in the next 10 minutes. So we're going to keep an eye on it, not expecting anything crazy, but we'll see what these little thunderstorms do. Outside of that, we are looking at clear skies today, hot and muggy as our temperatures climb, and our heat index values over the next couple of days could easily approach 100 degrees. So make sure you're staying hydrated if you're having to work outside. And there's a lot of construction projects going on. You just want to make sure that you're staying on top of everything. All right, overnight tonight, clouds will gradually increase, and we're looking at partly cloudy skies tomorrow. Still looking at some scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon and evening. Still some uncertainty, as you can see even on future track, as to how long the first batch will last. And then we're looking at additional storms late Friday into early Saturday morning across the area. So you can also see not everyone necessarily will get rain out of this, but a good portion of us should see something as we go into Saturday morning. And then we're looking at maybe additional rounds of thunderstorms as we head into Saturday afternoon and evening as well. So a lot to keep an eye on there. We do have the chance for some stronger storms really late tomorrow, but we have an isolated hail risk across our northern counties, and then an isolated wind risk, damaging wind risk in the northern half of our area with some of those storms we're expecting heading into Friday afternoon and evening. As of right now, though, got a beautiful sunrise out there, 7th and range line. I mean, the sun's not fully up yet, but it looks really pretty. Clear skies. Again, we'll monitor those storms up north, see what they do. Mid-70s by 8, mid-80s by 11. So that's what I'm talking about. Temperatures rising rapidly this morning. Highs today into the low 90s, so really they'll be pretty close to average, maybe a degree or two warmer in some cases, but it's those heat index values approaching 100 today that are going to be bad. South winds 5 to 10. A few clouds as we head into the overnight hours. Evening, though, remaining clear, still near 80 by 10. Mid-70s for lows tonight. South winds 5 to 10, so a very mild evening for us. Low to mid-90s again tomorrow. Heat index values again tomorrow also could reach near 100. Bit breezy, southwest winds occasionally gusting to 25. We'll have those thunderstorm chances that, again, will bring our temperatures back below normal for Saturday and Sunday. And we heat back up at least for a little bit next week before we fall back below normal again. So what we're getting out of summer here today, really not that bad, and we'll get another break from it next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, on the healthcare side, the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts to Medicaid will affect hospitals in the 4 states. With $1 trillion set to be cut over the next 10 years, the future is unclear. Hospitals in the 4 states tell us that it's too soon to know how they will be affected. Here are some numbers from the Medicaid.gov. In Missouri, more than 1 million people are signed up for Medicaid and CHIP services. In Kansas, more than 400,000 and over 900,000 in Oklahoma.
We are preserving it, we're protecting it, we're saving it for those who need it the most. This is something I've been working on since New Year's Eve.
We just don't know. Our patients rely heavily on Medicaid, so obviously we're very concerned and we're trying to look into the facts, but we just don't have the information, the data right now to know how is this going to impact Missouri and what are the changes going to be.
Medicaid is a federal program designed to help lower-income Americans afford health care. Well, U.S. life expectancy plummeted during the COVID pandemic and still hasn't returned to normal levels. A study published in JAMA looked at life expectancy in California and found it remained lower in 2024 than in 2019, nearly a year shorter than pre-pandemic. Now, the authors of this study say Black and Hispanic populations experienced the largest deficits in life expectancy. Eating a plant-based diet may reduce your risk of inflammatory bowel disease or IBD. Research published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research found people who ate a healthy plant-based diet had an 8% lower risk of ulcerative colitis and a 14% lower risk of Crohn's disease. But there is such a thing as an unhealthy plant-based diet, which includes more vegetable oils, which raises the risk of IBD. And loneliness doesn't just impact your mental health, but your physical health as well. A study by Howard University looked at data of nearly 50,000 people in the U.S. and found people who reported always feeling lonely had 5 more days of poor physical health per month than people who said they were never lonely. Lonely people also had a 40% higher rate of depression. Well, KOAM, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks, and local first responders are teaming up for the second Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive in Joplin. The event is a friendly competition between Joplin Police, EMS, and the fire department to see who has the greatest showing. That's a showing of both community supporters and team members. After a strong turnout last year, organizers are aiming even higher this time around.
Mercy, Freeman, Cox Systems, all of the local hospitals in Joplin, Springfield, Northwest Arkansas, all depend on us, and we depend on our amazing donors.
This year's blood drive is July 26th at Joplin Police Department's Public Training Center in Joplin. Well, summer can be a real headache for migraine sufferers. That's because many factors can trigger migraines in the summer months. Jared Hill has more on how to avoid the headache.
Kristen Thorvaldson has suffered with migraines since she was a teen.
It usually starts with a pain in the corner of my eye, or I get tension in my neck, running up my neck.
The 50-year-old takes medication for prevention daily and says many things can trigger an attack for her.
It could be the weather, lack of sleep, lack of caffeine. It could be my cycle. It could be stress.
Many migraine sufferers experience more headaches during the summer months. Dr. Shay Data is a neurologist with NYU Langone Health.
So weather-related changes, even sun, and then going from the sun being warm into like AC can trigger migraines for patients.
Staying hydrated during the summer months is critical for prevention. Dehydration can be a big headache and migraine trigger. Some other things you can do: wear sunglasses, plan ahead to reduce stress, and try not to stray too far from your routine for meals and sleep. That's according to the American Migraine Foundation.
Making sure you get proper rest if you are a little bit more active in the summer, especially if you're going to be out on the beach or active that day. Make sure that you are hydrating and then resting enough, because all of those things kind of raise blood flow and intracranial pressure in the brain.
Kristen says she's aware that summer fun can impact her migraines.
So I'm very mindful of taking care of myself, making sure I get sleep, making sure I stay hydrated, not over-caffeinating.
And she says she drinks less alcohol and chooses water and beverages with electrolytes to beat the heat and stay pain-free. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The American Migraine Foundation also reminds patients to store medications in a cool, dark place and be aware that meds could be less effective if exposed to summer heat temperatures. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a new mural in Joplin carries a message of unity, how the community came together to bring all aboard to life.
Going a little British there, aren't we?
I know.
Elise? All right.
Oops.
Well, and we've got a hot and muggy day. It's probably a little cooler in Great Britain right now, but a beautiful sunrise. A look at your forecast and our rain chances coming up.
Plus, county fair season is here. How 4-H exhibitors in Vernon County are building more than just livestock experience.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
At top of the morning to you, I'm Chris Warner. It's now, what is it now, Thursday?
It's pretty
July
good.
the 10th.
That's pretty good.
You know, I've got some roots somewhere in the world, so I figured I'd join in. Well, happy Thursday, everybody. It's almost Friday. Isn't there a day of the year, though, where you're, like, it's do a British accent or something like that?
I think so. I'm not quite sure when that is.
I mean, there's a day of the year for everything.
Right,
but anyway, so maybe you should go practice today. Maybe give your boss a surprise and surprise him with an accent. But make sure you're staying hydrated while you do it because it's going to be hot and muggy. Let's take a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. A beautiful sunrise. We have those days where we have them in the wintertime, we have them in the summertime. I call them days of deception, where we look outside and it looks great, but it doesn't feel so great. Now this morning, it's fine. We're not that bad. We're mild for this morning, but we're not that bad. But it's going to get hot and humid later. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking good this morning. Reminder, we're just keeping an eye on this little line of storms. We had a decaying line of severe thunderstorms pushing toward northwestern Missouri, northeast Kansas, and it spawned a little line that's tried to get going here, still just outside of our area, not moving too much. But if it tries to move, it's trying to go southeast, but it's also having a hard time getting organized. So we're not expecting much, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case. And you want to keep your eyes on the road and ahead of you, especially if you're heading down I-44, US 60 going southwest, maybe 69 down to the south. So we get some patchy fog, parts of Ottawa, Delaware, Craig, and McDonald counties. So use your low beams, not your high beams. And of course, give yourself some distance between you and the car ahead of you in case you run into some rapidly changing visibility conditions. Outside of that today, looking fantastic. Future Track tries to give us a pop-up shower. I'm going to be honest with you, like we said yesterday, we had that 10% chance, but we told you yesterday too, the chances were looking extraordinarily low for rain today. Really still the case, maybe a passing cloud or two, but that's really about it. But our rain chances will increase heading into the weekend. Of course it will. 70 in Joplin, 70 in Pittsburgh right now, and across the area, of course, those yellowish and orange colors out to the west mean it's even warmer. Got some upper 60s, and as you head west, it does warm up, where we start going low and getting close to the mid-70s a little further west this morning. As we head into the afternoon, again, aside from what we're keeping an eye on this morning, just outside of our area, we're expecting clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two, about 80 by 9 o'clock this morning, upper 80s by noon, low 90s where our highs are headed, south breeze 5 to 10, and heat index values today and tomorrow could approach 100 degrees. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure you are staying hydrated if you work outside. You know the drill. Take some breaks, find shade, make sure you don't overdo it. Again, hot muggy today, hot muggy tomorrow, but tomorrow starts bringing more storm chances. We'll break down those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Well, the city of Joplin debuts a brand new mural yesterday afternoon. A ribbon cutting ceremony for the mural took place at Smith's Flooring Stores. Now, the Joplin Arts District partnered with Aloe Fiber on the mural titled All Aboard, whose theme is a message of unity, welcoming everyone regardless of who or what they are. And county fairs across the 4 states are in full swing at the Vernon County Youth Fairgrounds. Yesterday morning, 4-H exhibitors checked in and weighed livestock as they prepared for the shows. Exhibitors were registering dairy goats and rabbits and weighing in dairy steers. For one 4-H member, county fairs are not just a chance to show off hard work, but also a way to build community and strong connections.
A lot of preparation. It depends what you're in. In dairy goats, it's just a lot of milking and just clipping their hoofs and stuff.
The Vernon County Fair runs through Saturday. And the 58th annual Newton County Fair is officially underway. Now, there's a lot going on at the fairgrounds in Neosho, Missouri. 4-H'ers are busy showing their market livestock, from steers and goats to rabbits and chickens. A lot of work goes into getting each animal ready for fair season. In addition to livestock, the exhibit buildings are now open to the public, where you can view a variety of award-winning projects.
Used to, when I was little, we went to the fair and I saw all the stuff here that was going on, and I thought, wouldn't that be fun to make? So we started making it, and all the plants, the ink pens, art, everything.
The Newton County Fair runs through Saturday. You'll find more information on the events page at KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. From livestock crossings to bacon-flavored cereal, what's making headlines in agriculture today? And still to come, Amazon Prime Day off to a record-breaking start. How shoppers are spending big during this year's mega sale. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch, President Donald Trump yesterday threatened Brazil with a crippling tariff of 50% starting August 1st. In a letter posted on Truth Social, President Trump alleges Brazil's President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva is undertaking a, quote, witch hunt over charges against former President Jair Bolsonaro, who had spoken about his friendship with President Trump, is facing trial for allegedly attempting to stage a coup. Well, yesterday, Silicon Valley chip maker NVIDIA became the first publicly traded company to surpass the $4 trillion mark valuation. The milestone is the latest sign of an artificial intelligence boom. NVIDIA is now worth $900 billion more than Apple, which became the first publicly traded company to pass the $1 trillion mark. And Amazon's week of Prime Day shopping opportunities began with a bang. U.S. online sales jumped 9.9% year over year to $7.9 billion on Tuesday. Now, on day one of the Amazon Prime Day mega sale, making it the single biggest e-commerce day in 2025, the Amazon Prime Day event continues through Friday. A new ballot push in Ohio aims to abolish property taxes, but not everyone is on board. Doug Petcash reports.
Sherry Smith loves her East Columbus home and the flowers she's planted over the last 25 years.
You know why I love lavender?
But over the last 10 years, she says her property tax has nearly doubled to $600 every 6 months.
What would it mean to you to get some property tax relief?
It would mean that I could go to a grocery store and not have to keep handing things back to the cashier and saying, I can't afford this right now. I can't afford this.
A grassroots group is pushing a measure to make Sherry's and every other property owner's property taxes $0. Volunteers are collecting signatures to put a constitutional amendment abolishing property taxes in Ohio on the ballot in 2026.
We have collected petitions from 76 of the 88 counties.
Brian Massey sits on the 5-member committee organizing the effort. He says they believe homeownership is the foundation of freedom.
Right now, with the complex property tax system that we have, taxing us on unrealized gains, people are finally tuning in that we're merely just renters from the government.
The group missed the July 2nd deadline to turn in more than 400,000 valid voter signatures to the Secretary of State to put the amendment to voters this year. So they're setting their sights on next year.
We're not going to go away. We're serious about this. This is not just a pie in the sky. We want our freedom and liberty, and that starts with home ownership.
Massey says the group is not opposed to paying taxes, but wants property taxes shifted to sales or income taxes or fees for service, such as fire protection. When asked about the proposed amendment in May, Governor Mike DeWine expressed reservations.
Well, I don't know how you abolish property tax completely
without raising other taxes. I mean, this is a significant way that we fund our schools.
You know what? I understand those people's frustration.
Sherry Smith would love some property tax relief, but says abolishing them would be a step too far.
And I knew it was going to quite possibly take money away from schools, take money away from the fire department, the police department, teacher. That's unacceptable to me.
Let's look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, another view of that beautiful sunrise this morning from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We've got a hot and muggy day ahead of us. We'll have another full look at your forecast when we come back.
Well, remember all the talk about avian flu. There is some good news to report. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. One southern border crossing is open once again, allowing cattle into the country. USDA announcing earlier this month the entry at Douglas, Arizona would reopen to shipments of cattle, bison, and horses on July 7th. This after being closed for 2 months out of concern about a pest called the New World screwworm south of the border. Mexican officials say almost 900 head of cattle crossed the border into the U.S. in the first shipment. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association saying cattle moving through that port will go through a double inspection on both sides of the border. Another border crossing is due to open to cattle next week. The situation surrounding avian flu appears to be improving. Bloomberg reporting the U.S. Centers for Disease Control is ending its emergency response for bird flu. Bloomberg says a source told them the emergency designation ended last week, with the agency merging its avian flu updates with those routinely reported for seasonal influenza on Monday. Now, when it comes to humans, the CDC reports there are currently no known cases of the disease in the U.S. And bacon goes great with breakfast, so why not add it to your cereal bowl? The folks over at General Mills partnering with Hormel Black Label to create Cinnamon Toast Crunch bacon-flavored cereal. This new limited edition cereal is available right now in 6-ounce pouches. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Here's Chris with a full look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some fog out there for some of us, especially around the Grand Lake area, Ottawa, Delaware County, some reduced visibility, so I-44, US 60. Again, low beams, not your high beams, and watch out for any potential rapidly changing visibilities. Skywatch Storm Tracker, most of what's in our area here, this is just radar, bad radar data, but this little guy flared up, part of an outflow boundary for some decaying severe storms that were up to our north. It's not really moving much. It's been trying to move southeast, but it's also having a hard time staying together. But you can see all of this flares up pretty quickly, and then it starts to kind of fizzle back out. We'll keep an eye on it, but not expecting much, if anything, from it in our immediate area. Now, for today, though, we are going to have a hot and muggy day, and we told you the chances for a pop-up storm today were extraordinarily low, and that is still the case. Really, in fact, it's about 0 at this point. It will be tomorrow, though, that we'll start to see some increasing clouds, and as we roll into the afternoon and evening, starting to get some more scattered storms versus pop-up storms. So we'll have those out there for us, and they die out. Then we get another line late Friday into early Saturday, and this line could bring some strong to severe thunderstorms with it into early Saturday morning, with hail and winds being the primary concern, which we'll show you that in a moment. A few scattered shower storms early Saturday, then we get another pause before we get additional scattered shower and thunderstorm development rolling through Saturday afternoon and evening. Excuse me, not everybody will see rain, but some of us will. And again, some of the storms, especially again early Saturday, late Friday, early Saturday, could be strong, low grade severe with an isolated hail risk and an isolated damaging wind risk as well. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Sunrise looking beautiful this morning from 7th and Range Line. It's going to warm up fast though. Clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two, mid-70s by 8 and the mid-80s by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of our highs climbing into the low 90s. Heat index values today could reach 100 degrees. We'll have a south breeze at 5 to 10. Into the evening we go, still clear skies near 80 by 10 and a mild night, low to mid-70s. 70s for most of us, and a few clouds out there. South breeze still 5 to 10. Southwest winds Friday could gust up to 25, but it won't really make a difference. We'll still have low to mid 90s, heat index values approaching 100. We get back below normal heading into the weekend with those scattered thunderstorm chances. Then we heat up again Monday and Tuesday, and our roller coaster ride takes us back down below normal in the second half of next week. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over now to Elise with sports.
All right, thanks. Well, Tuesday night, the Joplin Outlaws bounced back from a slow start to their road trip after losing 2 out of 3 to the Texarkana Rhinos. Joplin then starts a series against Piney Woods and earn a 7-4 victory. Last night, the Outlaws and Timberhogs were set to play a doubleheader down in White Oak, Texas. However, that gets canceled due to rain in the area, and the two teams will instead play a doubleheader today before the Outlaws return for their Fort Scott series. Over in the Mink League, the Nevada Griffins played last night as well. They dropped 1 to the Sedalia Bombers, final score 9-1. After last night, Nevada continues its long road trip. The Griffins' last 3 games have been away from home, and they've got 5 more before they return to Lions Stadium. The next one is at Jefferson City tonight. Now in Major League Baseball, the Royals and Cardinals both play. Kansas City has taken the first 2 games from the Pirates, so it has the chance to finish off a series sweep. Last time the Royals did that was a little under a month ago against the Texas Rangers. And they do it again. Last night, Kansas City takes down Pittsburgh 4-3. Salvador Perez got things started with a solo home run in the second inning, then came to the plate with the score tied at 3 in the bottom of the 8th and hit his second home run of the day. This one proves to be the game winner. Royals are now 46-48 on the season, which is just 3 games back of the American League's final wild card spot. Much different story in St. Louis. The Cardinals fall to the Nationals 8-2. Tough outing for the Redbirds. Starting pitcher Andre Palente, he gives up 7 earned runs in 6 innings of work. Now, despite the loss, Mason Wynn has a nice day at the plate with 3 hits and 1 RBI. These two will see each other for the series finale. That one gets started 6:45. Well, Major League Baseball announced yesterday it will be using an automated ball strike challenge system during next Tuesday's All-Star Game in Atlanta. We've seen this used in spring training where umpires behind home plate still make judgment calls on what's a ball and what's a strike, but teams can challenge a call they feel the umpire got wrong, and the ABS system with an automated strike zone is then used as a reference. Teams will get 2 challenges apiece in the All-Star Game. And closing things out with a look at pro basketball. Just last week, the Oklahoma City Thunder signed their star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, to a long-term contract extension. And yesterday, ESPN reports that OKC big man Chet Holmgren has agreed to a 5-year maximum rookie contract extension, which could reach $250 million. The 23-year-old was the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft. Now, this extension would keep him under contract with Oklahoma City through the 2030-31 season, which is also the final year of SGA's newly signed contract extension. Holmgren has dealt with several injuries in his first few seasons in the NBA. He missed 3 months during the season with a hip injury, but came back in February and was a big part of the Thunder's run to an NBA championship last month. Now it's a look at sports this morning. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, it's been nearly 4 decades since Greg LeMond became the first American to win the Tour de France. With the famed multi-stage bike race underway now, he receives a special honor in Washington yesterday. On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke of Greg LeMond's achievements in the sport as he presented the cycling legend with the Congressional Gold Medal. LeMond won the Tour de France in 1986 and captured the title again in 1989 and 1990. Well, Cam Schlitter made his major league debut for the Yankees and turned heads in the process. The right-hander struck out 7 batters over 5 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs. Schlitter also showed off his heat, throwing the 7 fastest pitches by a Yankee this season, 6 of them coming in just the first inning. With family and friends watching from the stands, Schlitter's big league dream got off to a promising start.
That certainly sounds like it. I mean, I can't play any sport. I'm athletically challenged, honestly. But, man, those folks who do it, though, there's some impressive players out there, and there have been over the decades. And we have an impressive sunrise, but it is going to lead to a less than impressive day in terms of temperatures and heat index values. We are looking at clear skies through the morning. Could have a passing cloud or two, nothing major. Mid-70s to start, but look at how quickly we warm up. Mid-80s. By 11 a.m. We're talking a 10-degree jump on average within the first 4 hours of our day here. As we roll into the afternoon, temperatures will climb a little more. Another 10 degrees, 10 to 12 degrees really, climbing into the low 90s. Clear skies, south winds 5 to 10. Our heat index values today reaching close to 100 degrees. So again, if you're working outdoors, if you're doing anything outdoors, stay hydrated, limit your time if you can, find shade, take breaks. Because again, we've had a reasonable summer so far, so we haven't had a lot of really bad days, but this one's going to be one of those not so pleasant ones. Clear through the evening, still about 80 by 10 o'clock. So, I mean, I guess if you have something to do outside, wait until 10. Can't mow the yard at 10, but still. Mid-70s tonight, south breeze 5 to 10. Tomorrow, southwest winds increase, gusting upwards of 25, but it's like what we've talked about before. It's going to be like when you open the oven after baking a pizza or something. It's not going to be a cool breeze by any means. Low mid-90s, heat index values tomorrow could still reach close to 100. Afternoon scattered storms, and then more storms, though, Friday night into Saturday, and that'll bring our temperatures back below normal through the weekend. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.